So step 2. So we are still in ideation. And in a sense, right now, we've been building content. The multitudes are holistically building content. So the question becomes, though, there is ambiguity. What are we going to do with this stuff? People are going, what's the point of having sharing all about this? Well, the next step is in what we call challenge sharing. And as you see here, the tension of letting go of one's own committed challenge in order to reframe perspectives towards another challenge creates emotional obstacle needed for what we're going to move into in disruption. This is going to be one of those first moments here where, because you all are all across this wonderful nation and in different spots, we're not truly going to be able to share within each other. But maybe if you are in groups here and you have a group of 3 to 5, or even if it's pairs of you, there's an opportunity here to try out and test the waters on this challenge sharing. So in actuality, the lab kind of starts here in relationship to the goals of authentication. We're going to start recognizing, what are we looking to authenticate? What are we trying to build? In that folder that you started off with, that was shared over the chat, you see in ideation there is a challenge sharing template. So what we're going to do here in this challenge sharing template is traditionally a group would be looking at the challenge. We haven't identified the challenge yet, folks, so I'm going to get there in a second, at least specific for this webinar. But a challenge is going to be presented in the room, and or an ask or a problem. And what we're going to look at is that as the group then breaks down, what are the 3 challenges in order to solve or make, and I see that down there in the quotation, solve or try to find solution around these challenges. Now, we're in ideation. We are supposed to be patient and allowing this thing to grow. It's not about trying to actually get it. It's all about staying in the problem space at the moment. So I'm going to present to you a challenge, and the same challenge that I presented at the conference in January to you as a group. If you are in a group of individuals, I ask that each one of you think about one of the challenges that you have in relationship to potentially not being able to understanding this, what we're going to present here, this template, this larger challenge, this larger idea right here. So challenges that go with it, okay? So the challenge I'm presenting to the groups today on this webinar is this. What obstacles, issues, or other similar tensions are you confronting right now in bringing the entrepreneurial mindset to your campus? So again, what current obstacles, tensions, issues are you facing in embedding, engendering the EM into your campus? So typically, again, a group would list the 3 challenges, right, that they have. But I'm going to ask you all, if you're in group setting right now, each to try to personally, by yourself, and don't share it yet, but write down in your mind, what is the one challenge you are seeing right now, your biggest challenge in engendering EM into your campus, okay? Again, like it says here, these challenges will take on many different scenarios, okay? And I'm also on this challenge template, you'll see there's an opportunity for you to put the multitudes down. And this is a way for your students, yourself, to continue thinking about those identifiers, those blind spots. That if you knew them prior to this challenge, or if you can get more of that from the multitudes in your challenge, it could be a big asset. So you can actually, in the multitudes, you can identify what you think you could use more of, or what you notice already, why it's happening. Because you might recognize in the multitudes, oh, I don't have enough people who love selfies. I need to find more people who love selfies in order to satisfy this challenge. I don't know what kind of challenge that would be, but you know, it all takes all kinds, right? So if you can, just take a 30 seconds or a minute or two and write down a singular challenge that you might have. And if there's a bigger group, it's okay. Some of you are going to end up having 3 to 5 challenges as a group, maybe, as it relates to engendering or bringing EM to your campus. And again, this could be anything, right? In our past, I've been presented by Emerson Climate Technologies last year to think about what is connectivity, human connectivity in 2050. That's a crazy challenge, right? So what are the challenges that come with that? So this is something that you can use in capstone. You can galvanize a class to talk about things from sustainability to energy, even in the art sector, subject matter and content and stuff like that. So, but again, we are still building content here. And we're still trying to figure out what it is and how we're going to navigate it, okay? So if you've got your challenge written down, this is where the tension starts to arise. Now, typically, if we were all in the room together, and let's say there was like 4 or 5 groups of this, what I'd be doing right now, I would be taking your challenge away from you, okay? I would have you be grabbing the challenge, and I would take it and bring it to another group, and take that group's challenge and bring it to another group, and take that challenge and bring it to another group. With the point being is that these challenges now are going to become shared. And that's a tension because you're about to let go of something that you thought maybe just for 1 second you were going to deep dive into. And now somebody else who may or may not have the same empathetic value of you and your group is now going to be asked to circle one of the 3 challenges that they most relate to. Now, for you guys in your other groups, what I would ask you to do is hold on to that next step because we're going to you can share and look at each other's challenges now, okay? But then what I would typically do finally, and this is a big thing about IACT and this authentication lab, is the sharing and the constant movement of option and choice, right? Because if I moved it once and took it from you and moved it to another group, and that group circled one of the 3, then I would take it from that group again and move it to another group and tell that third group, a group has just circled somebody else's challenge, and we are going to move into the disruption space with this. And that's what I would be asking from you all right now is if you have maybe multiple challenges at your table, I would ask you as a group to pick 2 of the multiple. If you have only 2 or 1, it doesn't make a difference at this point in time. But what we want to try to do is I want people to start thinking about not their own challenge, but somebody else's challenge at this moment. And that's what we're trying to ask our students to think of, our colleagues, our peers. Get out of your own way and begin to start thinking about somebody else's needs and wants. And that's a huge step when you're trying to build content and ideation, because what happens here is what went from all about me and my multitudes, not sure what we're going to do with it, became all of a sudden the conversation about, oh, my challenge, which now became all of a sudden about somebody else's challenge. And that in itself lends itself to naturally disruption. So at this time, again, not knowing, this is always the variable of doing this webinar in this way versus being in the room with you. Unsure what everybody is at this point in time. But if you have going along with it right now and you maybe have formed some challenges and are sharing challenges with each other, I would ask now, if anything, if you're in that space, to think about making sure that you do not currently have your challenge in front of you. And if you're single and you're here and you're exploring this webinar, just keep thinking, man, what would happen if somebody else had this challenge that I was really trying to deep dive into? Okay? So, moving right along now, we're going to move out of ideation and into disruption. This is the big core piece of the authentication lab. For a long time, when we were developing this lab and even this pedagogy in general, because we use the ideation, disruption, aha process every Tuesday night in class, whether it's 3 educators, military history, theater, and me, working together on trying to develop solution bases around binary political voting systems in America in the 2016 election, which is a truthful thing that happened in the fall. We are looking at how do we pivot and disrupt with value. I think when we first started developing this process 3.5 years ago, it was a lot of times the disruption was kind of this like bombastic, showy, kind of almost smoke and mirrors thing that physically may have jarred the individual, the students in that. But what was really not happening is that there wasn't really value placed in this model. You know, we talk about creating value in key, right? The identifiers of that. We were losing that. We didn't see that all the way through. So in this disruption right now, I'm going to show you how we talk about it from a creative confidence. This is where confidence starts to build because you have given up your challenge right now, but yet you have identified who you are. So you are still being authentic in the space, but you are now having to let go of perhaps the agenda of challenge you brought to the table originally. So the creative competence, when one's degree of study fuses with growing critical perspective, the student develops the creative competence to see the broad and diverse set of solutions in front of them and makes leaps, trust their intuition, and chase solutions that they haven't totally figured out yet. And again, when I say solution, I hope that you understand we're always learning. Solutions are constantly a variable. And I think in our part here, with our Education Lab, we are the creative front end of charging new marketable ideas and new processes that could go into tech transfer, industrialization, commercialization, or even into not-for-profit work, which is how we also use it. But in disruption, we're going to talk about now about that ability to be collaborative, how we pivot, that diversity of compassion, which is what collaboration is truly about, but even more importantly, empathy, which is key to our process here. Empathy is how we focus. It's the value drive. It's the ability for me not just to collaborate, but to think about you and not just me in relationship to this collaboration. And what kind of multitudes are you bringing to the table? What is that diversity and inclusivity you are bringing to the table so that our journeys are respected and conjoined, okay? So in this process here, next step here is rapid prototype.